The following is an excerpt from tonight's brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour on the Supervillain Network at 7 p.m. Central Time. Tonight, Vince and I are talking about video games and DLC. We hope you'll check it out, and thanks for listening. And our first topic for today is the lack of Tron 3. We're not going to have Tron 3, apparently. Disney has pulled the plug.
The lack of Tron. Is there enough Tron 3 out there for everybody?
Well, apparently not, Vince. So Tron 3 was about to go into pre-production. I guess, I'm assuming there was a script. They were prepping. They were about ready to get started, and then Disney just pulled the plug on the project. A lot of people that love Tron, especially folks, of course, that like Legacy, and were really looking forward to another one to round out the obligatory trilogy. We're really excited to see another one. And
Love Tron sounds like a slave robot. I just thought
Love Tron 3000.
All your desires in one fleshy robot.
All you need is Tron. And now we're not going to have that. Now I feel like, and so a lot of folks are really upset and up in arms about it. And then of course I'm hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh well, that's all right." You know what I mean? Some people, that didn't really care for the second one very much, or just never really liked Tron that much in the first place. Not really surprised by this news. I don't think this would even really be big news if it weren't for the fact, of course, that it almost happened.
Yeah. I like Tron, and I don't hate Tron Legacy.
I don't hate it either. I didn't love it.
And, I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
And you know what? I kind of like Daft Punk, so sure, why not?
Yeah, sure.
But
that was definitely one of the selling points. I've been reading that with a lot of articles, too. People saying things like, well, the only thing I hate about that is it means we're not going to get another rockin' Daft Punk soundtrack.
And you know what? I like it. I don't know. I have Tron and Tron Legacy. There's a chance I'll put it back in the DVD player, otherwise known as a Blu-ray player. And we're getting away from outdated technology. So, but you know what?
He's going to put Tron as VCR just for the...
I'll get my Betamax.
Yeah. Betamax was awesome.
Get out my Laserdisc. It'll be great.
My Tron Laserdisc. I have to flip it 8 times.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't upset me that it's not going to exist. I mean, how about you?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting really up in arms about it. I understand some of the folks that are, especially because of what seems to be the prevailing reason, although... you never can be completely sure what exactly is going on inside of a studio, but what people are saying is that Disney probably did this and I don't know if this came out of, honestly, I didn't see this. I don't know if this came out of any kind of like a press release or anything, but what I keep reading is that Disney allegedly did this because Tomorrowland isn't performing. And so they're like, well, we don't want to sink a bunch of money into another thing that might be like Tomorrowland again. And then what Tron fans are saying on the other side, of course, is, well, the last one that you made $400 million, and as long as you don't sink too much money into it, you certainly could make money if you think it would do that again. Now, I don't know that a third one would necessarily do those numbers because... Yeah. Because I think that a lot of that was the novelty of getting to go to that universe so many years later again. I think Disney has reason, and I can see both sides of this, but I think Disney has good reason to be not confident about that movie performing.
I feel like when you look at Tron, what you have is sort of a missed opportunity. And not to say that they're not doing Tron 3. I mean, of course, that's the topic of conversation here. But
it is, Vince. Keep on point.
But, I mean, essentially, in my head, they have a missed opportunity because they have this world that's so interesting that you want to see more of, but we're so locked in Jeff Bridges and around Jeff Bridges' family, apparently, that I kind of think that maybe we should expand outside of this. Why are they the only ones that can go into the universe? Why is it that we don't get anything else other than the stuff that's about those guys and how they have affected this universe?
Well, of course, I think the third one might have delved, outside of that some.
And that's what I would have hoped.
I don't think Jeff Bridges was even attached to it.
Well, I mean, was the guy who played his son? I forget the character's name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he could be, sir. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know what you would do with that. But yeah.
So I mean,
are you saying, Vince, that we needed that instead of canceling it, what we really needed was a Tron shared universe? No, is that not what you're saying? Okay.
I think we need to redefine shared universe at this point.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, to your point, what is that a universe that has legs? Yeah, sure, definitely. But is it also a financial risk? Yeah. Now you're seeing people saying, well, Disney has Marvel now, and they have Star Wars, and Marvel's making ridiculous amount of money all the time, so they should take a risk on a thing like that. And just because Tomorrowland isn't performing isn't a good excuse, because it's not like they're hurting for money. Now the thing is, you've got different departments in a company like this, so I do think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Not to dive too far into it, because of course I don't know the ins and outs of that business. But I'm just saying that, like I said, I can kind of see both sides of it. I just think it's kind of sad that because they pulled the project because another project did. Like, I don't know, they were kind of committed. It is kind of unfortunate they didn't go ahead and go with it.
Because that means they've already spent some money on it. So,
yeah. I mean,
so in other words, they've decided to eat what they've spent instead of try to get more out of it.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, they couldn't have spent too much because they hadn't started building things, but just for script and whatever. And who knows? I mean, maybe they even had built something. I don't know. Who knows? But
I mean, and often scripts pass through multiple hands. So
absolutely,
especially with these major studio things. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody wrote it and then like 3 other people touched it up.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
So
anyway, it's a thing that it's a thing I can live without. Yeah. But at the same time, I understand why fans are kind of upset about it, and I don't know. I've had a lot of trust in Disney lately. I mean, yeah, they put out some movies I haven't liked, but they've also put out a lot of movies I've really liked, and I seem to be the only reviewer in the universe that loved Tomorrowland. I mean, I was just in love with that movie, and it didn't seem to speak to anybody else. Didn't resonate with people, and it is a really messagey movie. So if it doesn't resonate with you, you're going to see it as really preachy. But I don't know. That movie really got me, and it's sad it's not performing, because I think it's an important movie. I think we needed it, and nobody agrees with me, which is just fine. But I don't know. So I guess I'm having a hard time not empathizing with Disney a little bit, because I would have thought that movie would have done okay.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent,
at least critically, if not commercially. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But
I mean, I kind of wonder if the fact that it's part of another property would have helped it out. I realize that the nostalgia's worn off of it, but
of Tron.
Yeah, of Tron.
Yeah.
And Tomorrowland is attached to a different property, which is significantly different.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's kind of a parallel here, this kind of technology-ish thing that people are looking at. So
that's right.
I can understand why they would link these two ideas in their minds.
Oh, that's great, Vince. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, sure.
But I don't think that saying that one doesn't perform should be indicative of whether or not the other one would perform, because I don't think people would see Tomorrowland and think, oh, wow, Tron's not going to do well.
Yeah, or see it and go, well, I'm not going to see Tron 3 now.
Yeah.
They're not going to make the connection in their mind you just did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand why it's linked, but, I mean, let's not undersell the general public, or undersell, that's not the word I meant to use. Whatever! Let's not generalize here and say that one action movie is the same thing as another, or one drama is the same thing as another. I mean, because let's say if Harry Potter didn't perform, does that mean that all other youth-based things...
Or whatever Warner Brothers wants to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's True Blood and all that stuff's going on simultaneously. I mean, of course, a lot of that stuff performed, but I mean, people keep putting out crap and thinking, well, hopefully it sells. And you know what? A lot of it does, so...
Yeah, but I mean, like they're both science fiction things as far as Tomorrowland and Tron. But beyond that, how much of a correlation is there really? Tron is, in my mind, like Gargoyles. There's nothing inherently Disney about it.
Yeah.
And it's and obviously Tomorrowland isn't inherently Disney thing. It's based on a part of Disney parks.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of Disney iconography in it, and Disney things exist in it. Did you see it?
No.
There is by the way a couple of references to Rocketeer in it. I mean like it is very Disney. Well, I don't even think Rocketeer is inherently Disney. I'm just saying that it's calling back to a thing that they made.
Yeah.
But my point is, if they're not gonna make more Tron, sell it to somebody else, because it's not inherently a Disney thing. And Disney likes to buy up as many properties as they can, but what's nice about them is they always do something with it. Don't hang on to Tron and not do anything with it, because clearly there's a fan base.
Yeah. And
You know, it's a little kitschy, but it did make $400 million. So I mean, like, now I'm not saying that everybody that saw it is a giant Tron fan, but is there a base there? You know what I mean? Like does it have enough of a fan group to go see it? Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you know, sell it to somebody else. And I also think that that's a movie. So much of that. I mean, there's a lot of cool practical stuff, but so much of that is computer effects. Yeah. I think you can make a Tron movie for $100 million or less. I don't think that has to be a $200-300 million movie.
Yeah, I think it could be reasonably cheap. I mean, of course, they did it back in the, what was it, 60s, 70s? I forget.
82?
82? Wow, I wasn't even close.
Yeah, because it was the first movie that used really any computer effects.
And you know what? Tron didn't leave much of a lasting impression on me, but when you go back and you look at that stuff, I mean, you don't necessarily need the same characters. It's not like it's Indiana Jones.
No, you don't need the same character. It's not about those characters as much as it is the world. You make up new people, sure.
And that's why this thing has legs. So I think
a lot of people forget that Tron was a character.
Yeah. So
I did!
And you know, they recast Tron because Tron was, you know, not that age anymore.
You have to, yeah.
So why not just try it?
And they recast young Jeff Bridges as a computer program. And,
True.
And just had him voice it, you know, because, well, anyway. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.